Hello, good evening, and welcome back to TTTV. My name is Andy Campbell, and we are here now for the second part of tonight's festivities and entertainment. It's League 1 of the TTG Mini Esports League, and joining me in the commentary box is a gentleman who was just out on the track in League 2, representing Nexus. It is Nexus Jack. Jack, how are you doing this evening?
I'm not great after my races, but hopefully it all turns out best for this lot. I commentated this with Andy a little while ago, last time we did it, and it was very entertaining, very close racing between VSR and I can't remember who the other lot was. But it was very close, and hopefully that could be repeated again today.
Definitely so. Looking forward to some really good action out here tonight on the track. We've got 2 rounds for you. 1-shot qualifying, 25% race distance in both. You can see the lobby is starting to ready up just now. And the first race is at Montreal, Canada. 2.71 miles round, 14 turns in all. Quite a few overtaking opportunities as well, especially down into the turn 10 hairpin. You've got to watch out for the wall of champions coming out of the last chicane at turns 13 and 14, and especially, Jack, with 1-shot qualifying. Very easy to invalidate yourself round here with the 3 different chicanes.
It's my best track though, so I like this one. So it's a good racing, but I hear about the validations. It's very easy to invalidate on this track, most of it just being a big chicane. Got some flat apexes, so very easy.
We'll soon see what is possible. Your teams here tonight are, of course, TTG, represented by their main team. The Academy team was out during League 2. We're also joined by TMC, Livid E-Racing, TUF, and the defending champions, VSR, who have won each of the mini-leagues so far that TTG have put on since the tail end of last year, start of this year. So they are the team to beat here tonight. And we'll run through them as best we can once they're out on track. Qualifying is a 1-shot job, so we don't need to... We're going to be straight into the action as soon as the drivers pick their strategies. Just looking through though, VSR, you will find them in the Haas and the Ferraris. TUF will be in the Red Bulls and the McLarens. TTL... got them wrong already. I'm doing terrible already. This isn't good. The out on track. TMC is in. I'll go through it in a minute. Forget it. I've got caught out completely. So here we are, out on track, and we are on board with the salvo of Johnny Haven Terry, and he's into turn number 1, coming nicely out of the corner. He's on the hypersauce. Everybody on the hypersauce for this qualifying session, the looks of it, and then into the tricky turn 3 and 4. Just got to watch the wall on the outside. Looks like you might just clipped it there through the curve of turn number 5 and onto the braking into turn number 6. Got to be very careful on the way in on the left-hander. Open up the corner on the way out through the right-hander. DRS wide open down the back straight towards turns 8 and 9. Underneath the bridge, hard on the brakes. 3rd gear, quickly back up to 4th. Again, just running it wide. Nicely done there by Terry. And he's currently in 3rd place at the moment as he heads up to the heavy braking zone at turn 10. All the way down to 1st gear. Chucks it in quickly up to 3rd gear to eliminate the wheel spin. And very nicely done. Only 2 of the VSR boys are ahead of him now through the small kink which is called turn 12 down the back straight. DRS wide open heading into the chicane of turn 13 and 14. Got to pick it nice and easily. Nicely done there. Missed the wall of champions, and this could be a pole position lap for Terry as he crosses the line, and he does. It is pole position for the Sauber driver, so what a choice there for jumping on board with the man who actually set pole position there in the Sauber. It is John Terry, no relation to the former Chelsea player obviously, but he takes pole position here for the first race, and it was a very clean lap, very committed in certain points of the track as well. Team have lost track for a moment. Anyway, there's your standings here. So John Terry takes the pole position on 1 minute 7.631. 3/100ths clear of Casper for VSR in second, then it's Nolan in third, Julian for TUF in fourth, Speedstar in fifth place for Livid Racing, and then we've got Mobile, I'm going to be calling him because there's no way I'm pronouncing the first name. He's in sixth, Jack in seventh, Sparks eighth, Ollie ninth, Blizzard rounds out the top 10. The top 10 covered by less than half a second. Then we've got Matt, Poe, Lean, Yaram, Fanatic, Deenan, Flying Finn, Lormans and Honey Badger was the next one up towards the back end. I think a few drivers did manage to invalidate their lap time during that. 25% race, so it's pretty much, in a way, a sprint lobby, just obviously without the idiotic driving, hopefully. If you had to put your money on someone here, Jack, who would you fancy for this one? It's going to be a close one, I think.
I reckon it's going to be one of the VSR boys today. Probably not Blizzard, he's obviously down in 10th, but I think it could be Flying Finn or something. I can't remember who qualified second and third.
It was Casper in second place, a driver I actually know quite well from commentating on Sunday nights in AOR. He was very quick in that league in the F2. He's now in F1 in their top tier and doing very well indeed, probably the best promotee to the league as well, so be interesting to see how things go. They're on the grid for the start of the race. The top 10 on the Hypersofts. Matt in 11th is also in Hypersofts. Then we've got Poe on the Ultrasofts. TUF Lean is on the Hypersofts, then followed by Yarham, Fnatic and Deenan on the Ultrasofts. We've got Flying Finn going on to the Hypersofts. He had a very good race on Sunday night on AOR as well, so look out for him. He's a very quick driver. And then finishing off, we've got Lormans for Livid Racing on Ultrasofts, Honey Badger for TTG on the Hypers, and TUF Luca is on the Ultrasofts. So nobody going for the Supersofts. No surprises there really, considering that it is obviously only 18 laps around here rather than the normal 50%. But Terry's got himself in the best position. Be interesting to see, where do you fancy pit stops coming into this one, Jack? You're someone that goes out in the track. I'm not someone that's usually in the cockpit. I stand here in the commentary box. Where would you imagine pit stops to be around?
Well, normally with the hope stops, they won't last very long on most tracks, so I'm going to guess most people are going to go for laps 4 or 5 for most of them, but I think a couple of people might go for an undercut for lap 3 possibly, but maybe someone will go for an overcut if they're comfortable with their tyre wear, go for lap 6 possibly if they can push their tyres that long, but we'll have to see.
You may want to turn your volume up a little bit, Jack. We can hardly hear you on the stream. I'm just going to check my own.
Sorry, I left my
yeah, that sounds better already just within my earphones, so that should be much better now. So, lining up on the grid then for the start of the first round this evening. I'm just quickly going through the chat. Casper, who's on second on the grid, calling me a legend. Thank you, Casper. Blizzard in there as well. May's saying to turn the mic up to you. Nolan's in there, who's on track. Spaghetti and Chips in there as well, shouting on Livid here tonight. But here we go, waiting on the 5 red lights for the start of proceedings here tonight in the Esports Mini League round number 1. The lights are out. But it's one of these tricky ones where nobody's moving and we're underway finally, and there's a crash in the background. One of the McLarens is already collected and the Honey Badger's already out the race. Casper is challenging Terry into turn number 1. We're going 3 wide. There's a Red Bull going up the inside, pushing its way through on Nolan, but unable to get through. That was Julian trying to make his way through, but it's actually cost him a couple of positions there by the looks of it. He was nearly through. That's the Mercedes of Nolan on the grass, nearly off the track. Completely huge spin. We've got a crash, have we? Yes! Nolan in the wall. He's got damage to that car, and that's going to drop him down the field very quickly indeed. I believe it was it Nolan or was it Sparks? I'm trying to catch out who it was. It was Nolan who drops down the field, so already carnage. 5-second stop goal penalty for Sparks for cutting the corner cutting and gaining a position, but down the field it's carnage. There's a Force India off in the background. That's Yarham going wide there. It's absolute mayhem through the field, and we've got 3 wide coming up to the hairpin here, and there's another McLaren in the wall. McLaren in the wall. That's Fnatic. Just got completely swiped out there by Luca. Don't think it was intentional, just 3 wide, wrong place, and that's the Fnatic into the wall and down the field. Jack's at the back, Blizzard's all the way down the back as well. Absolute carnage on lap 1, but to end the lap, Speed Tash is into pit lane already, so he's making an early pit stop, possibly some damage to him. Going to see plenty of repairs in pit lane, but it's John Terry who leads Casper in second. They've already pulled away from Julian in third, and then Mobile in fourth. Sparks, despite the 5-second penalty, is in 5th place. Ollie up 3 places to 6th. Flying Finn up 10 places to 7th. Luca in 8th up 12 places. Deenan up 7 and 9th, and Lormans rounds out the top 10. But absolute carnage on the first lap. We've got a number of drivers in pit lane. Now, you see anything that we didn't catch there, Jack?
Well, I saw Blizzard and Jack going into turns 4 and 5 wheel to wheel, and I think they just collided and they ended up in the wall. Blizzard getting front wing damage, but Jack looks like he's okay to continue there. And there's a Fnatic that went off, I don't know who it was with, but didn't look intentional. I think just got a bit close up with each other and pinged off into the wall, and that was that.
Yeah, it was Luca, I think he got caught up with up to the hairpin. We've just seen caught the end there as Lormans for Livid has just come through on Matt and Deenan into the hairpin, and the Toro Rosso and the Salba going side by side. The Toro Rosso looking like it was going to attack the Williams, the Lormans there, but fought better off it. DRS is now enabled, and Terry out front has got himself out of DRS range on Casper's Ferrari, so that's going to be good for him. He's not going to be under threat from the DRS on that Ferrari. Julian's sitting at 3.5 seconds down. He's got the Force India of Mobile all over the back of him. Sparks is all over the back of that, and you can see there that's Flying Finn looking at the back of Ollie's Haas there and getting a nice run through turn number 7 there. The outside gives him a bit of a push there, probably unintentional, but Flying Finn flying through the field, living up to his name, up 11 places in the early stages of this race. He's now up to 6th place. Sparks is going side by side with Mobile, coming up to the hairpin, but the Force India pulls in front and holds on to the position for now. They're still nose to tail, but the top two have managed to sprint away, and Casper is trying to just keep within DRS range on Terry so he can try and attack later on. But as you say, I don't think it's going to be too long before the pit stop phase starts. Here goes Mobile on DRS on Julian, easily done before the chicane, and Julian decides to go into pit lane. So first of the leaders to make a proper pit stop is Julian for TUF at the end of lap number 3 as we go into lap number 4. Chaotic and frantic start, and a lot of the drivers down the back have already made their pit stops in this shortened 25% race, so they don't need to pit again. Let's have a look. What tyres did they put on? Yeah, a lot of them putting the super soft tyres on. No surprises to see that, but it is still Terry who leads from Casper out front.
For people on super softs, I think it's still possible for them to get a good result for this race, because in week 2 a few people, actually quite a lot of people crashed about the same amount here. Crashed on lap 1 in Australia, and then on the soft tyres managed to come back through the field, come inside kind of mid-points, and it's well played.
It'll be interesting to see Nolan picking up a penalty there, so he's picked up 3 seconds. I've lost track already who has, so we're just going to need to wait to the end. I know Flying Finn, who's onto the back of Sparks here under DRS down the back straight, is going to be an easy move for the Ferrari on the Williams, as the Williams has got no DRS to defend, and straight the way he goes Flying Finn through. That was the Haas at Ollie flying into pit lane in the background, but Flying Finn does have a 3-second time penalty as well. Sparks has got 5 seconds for corner cut, and he might want to obviously maybe inquire about that depending on how it happened, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. But Ollie into pit lane to get rid of those hyper softs, and he goes on to a set of ultra soft tyres for the TTG driver. So lap number 5 pit stops underway, and if you have a look at the moment, Speedstar, who was the first one to come into the pits, and he's just come out ahead of Ollie there, a big tank slapper on the way out of turn 2, but he's the first driver who's pitted already at the front end. He's in 10th at the moment. Everyone else is not to pit yet. 23 seconds is the gap between him and the leader. I don't think he's going to take the lead when the lead pair pit, but he's going to put him right up towards the top, although he's going to want to stop hitting the wall like that a wee bit more often, that's for sure. Just clipping the wall hard there. Casper, in the meanwhile, is on to the back of Terry Salba. We expect to see at least one of these guys fly into pit road. No, they don't actually. They both carry on, and I know Casper's usually pretty good on his tyres, so he could probably go another lap or two quite easily as they go on to their 6th lap of the race. Mobile is into pit lane along with Sparks as well, so there's an R2 drivers into the pits now as the pit stop phase gets fully underway.
Well, Casper's been catching Terry in the last couple of laps, except I don't know if he... Oh, hang on, he made a little bit of a mistake there. I think he might have lost a bit of time, just kind of spinning into a wall there. But he was catching Terry quite a bit the last couple of laps. So I was about to say, I don't think it's going to be enough for him to catch him before pit stops come, so maybe we'll try and jump him in the pits. But after he collided with the wall there, he's dropped down just behind a second, except I think he's back for DRS now, possibly. So...
Well, we'll soon see what goes on there. Perpetual Mobile has came back out ahead of Speedstar and Ollie, so he's now the top driver that's made a pit stop. A number of drivers there picking up penalties. I've seen Nolan picking up a second one, and amongst that there was 3 of them in quick succession there, so we're just going to have to wait for the end of the race because it's unable to keep up with what is going on. But a lot of drivers have pitted. We're currently watching Nolan, who's got Lean for TUF ahead of him. You get Sparks in behind, who's just came in and made a pit stop. Casper pits from the lead of the race, so John Terry carries on for another lap on those Hypersofts. He's now got about a 6-second lead over Flying Finn in second and picks up a time penalty to go with it. This race will probably be decided in terms of the points by penalties. 1 DNF so far, and that is Honey Badger for TTG. That's going to really hurt their chances here tonight later on into this race. Casper has came back out in 5th place on the road, so he is now the lead car that has made a pit stop, 17 seconds behind the lead. You've got to think that's going to be very close when John Terry comes into pit lane, and you've got to imagine that's going to be surely at the end of this lap.
I'm just going to fill in for the people who's asking what happened to Blizzard. Blizzard came into contact with Jack on the first lap in turns 4 or 5, and then it just kind of went badly for him there.
Yeah, a lot of carnage went on in lap number 1. There was cars everywhere. Julian picking up a time penalty now as he's trying to defend from his TUF teammate Lean, who's got Nolan and Sparks in behind. John Terry and Flying Finn into pit lane. That releases Luca into the lead of the race on the ultra soft tyres there for TUF, so they now take over the lead of the race at the moment with Lormans for Livid in second. You're currently watching there as Lean goes by Julian. TUF teammates just in different cars, so surely not going to be fighting that one too hard between each other. But you can see there Nolan is in behind as well, and he might fancy a chance into turn number 1. Looks up the inside, has to think better off it, and needs to be careful. He's got Sparks in behind him as well, and that Williams might fancy its chances in making a move up through the field. But you've got to keep an eye on when the top 3 that are on the ultra sauce come into pit. In fact, John Terry, in fact, come to speak of it, he's actually managed to just get out ahead of Casper after his pit stop there, but not by much. The young Dutchman is right behind the Salba, a lot closer than what he was before the pit stop phase, so that has worked out not too badly for Casper coming in the lap earlier. The undercut seems to be a little bit more powerful than the overcut. Nolan and Sparks are having a fight there, just catching the end of that. Julian's dropped back 2 places. I think the Red Bull's struggling with tyre wear, but he's still going to launch one up the inside. On the super soft tyres is the Red Bull, but he can't gain any of those places back, and he's going to have to try and see if he can slipstream his way down the back straight. But Sparks has got DRS as well. Ollie's the latest one to get a time penalty. We're going up the inside by side into turns 13 and 14, and the Red Bull gets the move done and gains one of those places back. So he gets a huge tank slapper on the exit, and it's going to allow Sparks a chance to go up the inside into turn 1. The Red Bull gives him a little bit of a squeeze, lock of the brake from the Williams there up the inside. Red Bull to the inside line. Look out for the Salba of Matt in the background though. He's going to pick up the scraps. See anything going on here, and from challenging, Sparks has actually lost another place in that race there, and that's not good for him. Meanwhile, Flying Finn and Ollie having a bit of a bumper car ding dong coming out of turn number 7. Flying Finn had got ahead, but Ollie's having absolutely none of that, takes the position back, and Flying Finn's going to have to launch another attack on the TTG driver.
I was looking at his fight back here, and Julian coming into I can't remember what turns they are. Actually, he's coming into a bit of contact with Julian. That is Matt. I think that was just a bit decent, whatever. But Julian, he missed the corner, just went outbroke himself, went straight across, cut the corner. So that's how he lost a couple of positions and a bit of momentum, I think. There.
Yeah, it won't be doing him any good, but these guys are all in a train with DRS, so that's going to be keeping them all together. Flying Finn, I think that's his 3rd penalty of the race. That's really going to come back to haunt him very shortly. Julian's basically doing a bumper car push. Ignore the desync there. That's an interesting way to overtake. Holy mollies, that is certainly not PG. Let's see if we can unsync these cars. There's your Wednesday night entertainment. It's certainly not. Look at this, it's ridiculous. I hope that. Whoa, it's still going. can't. Yes, now they've unsynced themselves. That was definitely not PG. I'd like to apologise for the bang in there. Definitely wasn't intentional. We'll cut away from that just now. That's going on a highlights reel at some point, I'm absolutely sure of it. Flying Finns managed to finally get by Ollie. We have missed while watching all the I'm trying to think of the word to use for that overtake. Different overtake. But during that, Casper has actually got ahead of John Terry for what is the provisional lead off the race. Once the top two come into pit lane, the Salba is going to try and fight back up to the chicane, but he's unable to do so. And they've got Lormans ahead. He's just signed up to Livid Racing just in the last week or two, so new to the Livid Racing team and straight out onto the track for them. But he's still to make a pit stop at the moment, and it's Casper who's technically in the provisional lead of the race as Nolan picks up another penalty. Speaking of Nolan, he's got a great run out of the final chicane, and he's managing to get round on TUF lean into turn number 1, but he's going to drop like a stone through the field at the end of the race because he's got at least three 3-second penalties, so 9 seconds in total to what I can make out will be added to his time. Lap 11 of 18 leans now picked up a penalty. Look at this, so Casper trying to get past Lormans. John Terry's going to the outside into turns 8 and 9. Has to think better of it, and it is just, there's action everywhere you look right now. It's absolutely incredible. This is always what we see in these mini leagues. Absolutely brilliant racing all through the field, plenty of action going on, and all this is doing as well is bringing Perpetual Mobile into the battle as well for the lead. So we're now going to have a three-way scrap. You can see Casper's going to get DRS passed on Lormans. Luca's into the pits, so that's going to release Casper into the lead of the race. Expect Lormans to go on the pit lane, getting a bit sideways here. John Terry's going to get a great run there as Lormans into pit lane just clipped the Ferrari slightly, just put him out of sync, and there John Terry retakes over the lead of the race he had earlier on, having been on pole position. But look at this, the top three are pretty much nose to tail as we come into the final stages of this first race tonight. Dark Bolt in the chat saying demonetised. Yeah, we probably will be. That clip will end up in Pornhub.
A couple of old SSR drivers after SSR collapse have now joined Livid Racing, Girls Ball Sparks, which is their Novitec and Julian, very nice. And what's his name, Lormans, both coming into Livid Racing, doing okay for themselves here, except Lormans dropped back recently, but I think Casper could maybe catch back up to Terry and take this win off him, possibly, especially as Terry's going to be under attack from DRS coming onto the straight. Let's see what happens coming to the final stage of this lap.
Yeah, I mean, Casper doesn't really need to do too much because John's got at least 2 3-second penalties, so that's going to drop him down the field very quickly. I think we've got cars overtaking on the back, so that was Luca getting past on Ollie. I think Flying Finn just done the same thing on Speedsta as well. He's now having to defend from the Toro Rosso, but easily able to do so with DRS to help him. But Casper's problem is that Force India right there, a Perpetual Mobile sitting just in behind, and I don't think he's got any penalties either, so they two are basically leading the race because John has got penalties that will come into effect by the end of this. We'll need to wait because I've not been able to keep track of any of them really much at all, as we're just on board with Sparks there as he gives the wall a nice little kiss on the way out of turn number 4 and heading down to the end of sector 1. But plenty going on through the field into the final stages. Lap 13 of 38, there's Fnatic picking up the latest time penalty. The stewards would be very busy if there was real life stewards for this, and Lormans has just managed to get past on Deneen there. Two Livid Racing drivers battling it out between each other. They've got the other Force India of TMC Yarham just in behind, who's just cut the corner and picked himself up a penalty, so that's not going to help him later on. Meanwhile, Luca is going to try and go the long way round the hairpin on Speedstar. Oh, a little bit of a desync moment there, and Speedstar's sideways there, managing to hold it both with DRS. Nolan with another penalty. He's going to end up finishing the race in Mexico at this rate. But Luca there getting the move done on Speedstar, just getting a better run out of the exit of the chicane. But Speedstar nearly lost it there. That could have been a huge accident down the front straight.
I think as the tyres are starting to get worn now, people will start losing their race, pick up some time penalties possibly. So we're going to have to see how that comes into play. Luke is on the Hypersoft tyres though, so he could be catching 2 people in front of him with older, harder tyres.
It is possible. He's only been on them for 2 laps now. The rest have been on them for at least 6 laps. He's 6 seconds behind the lead. There is going to be penalties involved in this as well, so he's still on with a good chance of making some good points for TUF. They had a good showing last time out, a good battle with TTG in the last mini esports league a couple of months back, so they'll be hoping to improve on their performance here tonight. But at the moment, John Terry leads on the road in his Sauber. Took pole position as well, but the fastest lap of the race at this point in time is Speedstar, who's just had to cut the chicane there, defending from Ollie, who will not be happy with that at all, but Luca's just stolen that, so the fastest lap of the race is Luca, 1 minute 9.653 on those hyper soft tyres. He is starting to close in on Flying Finn, and he is right behind the Ferrari driver who's picked up another penalty. Luca's just picked one up though, getting a bit too generous with the curbs there, and Paul has got past Julian, who's had a bit of a bump there. Where is Julian? He's off the track actually, is Julian. So we only caught the end of that. Not sure what happened. I think Julian's got some wing damage because he is struggling to turn that car. Let's just have a look. Yeah, front left end fence is missing on the Red Bull there, so that is not good for Julian. He's going to drop like an absolute stone through the field, and that's Lorman's just going past him now. Casper's dropped out of DRS range on John Terry, but he has got more than a second, nearly 2 seconds over Mobile. So I get the feeling the young Dutchman's probably playing the waiting game. He probably knows that John Terry's got a couple of penalties, but speaking of which, Casper's just picked one up himself. That's not normally like him.
Well, oh, Julian's retired. I was about to talk about him and his wing damage.
Oh, crashed the front straight, sorry. Ollie and Speedstar have just collected each other coming out of the chicane, and damage to both the cars there. We're just watching that, unsure who caused that, if it was a bit of desync, but contact between the two of them. Nolan's tried to stick his nose in there as well. Speedstar is going to struggle now with front wing damage, but just caught that there on the front straight between the two of them. Didn't quite catch it. I was too busy looking between the standings as well, but yeah, that was not too good for them. That's going to ruin. Nolan goes by in Speedstar pretty easily, and Matt is going to be by him pretty easy as well. There he goes. Sorry, Jack, didn't mean to cut across you there.
I saw it, but from wing damage now coming in for Speedster, that's going to really affect his race, because as soon as he locks up coming into, again, forgotten the numbers, but front wing damage really affects your braking, so locking up into everything, and it can really ruin the race. So I don't know how he's going to try and come back from this. Sparks is starting to come up behind him. Maybe see some team orders from Livid. Going to see with those, maybe some team picking in here.
We'll soon see very shortly. Meanwhile, while we were watching all the carnage going on behind, Luca has got past Flying Finn, so that's put the TUF driver now up into 4th place. Speedstar is going to carry on with his front wing damage because there is only a couple of laps to go, and he's got quite a few penalties, so it probably won't make too much of a difference now by the end of this race, but he needs to be very careful, as you say, under braking and through the high downforce turns. He's just not going to understeer straight the way into a wall and head to Narnia before long if he's not careful. But Casper's playing it cool. I think the Dutchman, the VSR drivers, pretty much knows what he needs to do. He's kind of playing it safe now. He's got 1 penalty, but he's got an advantage of John having 2, I believe, and he's within a second and a half, so I think he's in good position here. He will be the one to pick up the victory if it stays as it is. His teammate Flying Finn, despite having older tyres, is trying everything he can to get past on Luca, and they're both catching up to Perpetual Mobile as well for 3rd, so depending on penalties, this could be a battle for 3rd before long. Here comes Flying Finn. Luca tries to defend. The Ferrari goes to the outside into the chicane. That's going to be a brave move to hold it. They're both side by side. A little bump of the wall there for the Red Bull, but that's a move done there by Flying Finn, and that was actually pretty decent considering how tight that final chicane is. On to the final lap we go, and they're still side by side. Luca takes the place back. Great racing from they two. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, very well done from Flying Finn. Brave move going into the 14, 15 chicane, whatever. Very brave move from him. Could have ended in absolute catastrophe, but Luke's 6-lap-old Hypersoft tyres is probably levelling out on tyre wear with Flying Finn's Ultras, so I think they're on a level playing field coming into the final lap. Also, time penalties are going to be a big factor here, so we're going to have to see what happens.
Oh, they definitely will be, because John Terry's just picked up another one on the final lap. He's on the process, coming down the front straight at the moment. I'm just going to quickly watch, see if Nolan fancies a dive bomb or ollie into the chicane. He doesn't, so we're going to follow John Terry over the line. He's going to win on the road, but he's not going to be the winner. We'll let it fall through. So he crosses the line in first with Casper in second, but you can see straight away Casper promoted up into the lead, and the winner of the race, Perpetual Mobile, crosses the line in third, but Luca takes it due to penalty, so he's in third. Mobile in fourth, Flying Finn in fifth. Ollie coming across the line now as Nolan crashes into the wall, so that's sixth for Ollie. Matt's in seventh, Sparks in eighth. Nolan's heading backwards at a vast rate of knots, so it's Lean in ninth, Poe's in 10th. Nolan's all moving around. I'm going to let it all finish out because Lorman's is now 10th, Poe's 11th, Nolan in 12th, Speedstaff was 13th, it's now Jack and Blitz. We're going to let this fill it out. What we do know is your top three, Casper wins for VSR, so a great start for them. John Heaven Terry in second, and Luca for TUF in third, running the alternate strategy. And the biggest gainer in the race is Luca, 17 places he gained. He started at the back of the grid in 20th place, so that's a brilliant podium for him, and surely got to be driver of the race for that one, coming all the way through the field, especially all that carnage on lap number 1, Jack. But your winner of race number 1 is Casper for VSR.
Unbelievable race from Luca. He's done really well this race, to come from right at the back to be right at the front. As well played from him, great bit of strategy, tyre, all that. Casper also playing a very good kind of waiting game on who's first? What's his name?
John Terry.
John, that is his name. It's well played from him, just holding up behind him. I think he knew that there was time penalty, so he just played it safe and then sat in behind him to the end. And it was a very nice thought out race from him.
Definitely, so it was very clever as well, because he would have been told surely by his engineer, maybe in a party chat with some of the others, he would have been told that there was penalties ahead in one way, shape or form, and it's worked out very nicely for him indeed. We'll run through the standings. So Casper wins for VSR. It is John Heaven Terry, I'm just going to call him John Terry, it's a lot easier. He's in second for TMC, then it's Luca in third for TUF, Perpetual Mobile in fourth position for TMC, so second and fourth for him. Very good start to the league for them. Flying Finn in fifth for VSR, then it's Ollie in sixth for TTG, Matt in seventh, the other TMC driver, so three of their drivers in the top 10 is brilliant stuff. Sparks is in eighth place in the Williams, which is for Livid Racing. TUF Lean in ninth, Lormans rounds out the top 10, and it's too slow to go through everybody, and I think looking through that, every single driver picked up a penalty of some description. I'm just going to go back in the stream actually and have a look at that. Yeah, it looks like everybody had a penalty that I can see, certainly in the top 14. Poe is 11th, Nolan 12th, Jack 13th, Blizzard 14th. Don't have anything beyond that. But yeah, penalties all round, not a surprise around this place because it is very easy to do. Mr. Alan Kay will be feverishly doing the maths, and he will post the round 1 point results very shortly indeed. But very good race there that was, Jack. And next up we have the British Grand Prix from Silverstone. Now, I believe you're lobby host, so I think you need to go change the track, mate.
Oh yeah, I do.
While you're doing that though, Casper mentioned that he had damage to his wing for most of the race as well, so if that's the case, to keep that pace, that's a very good drive indeed from him, because he had some really good pace during the race. Having a look through here, Speedstar had Lewis Marshall saying Speedstar had great pace, but obviously the damage and going down the field, he had a lot of time penalties as well. John Terry's talking to Casper saying, don't depress me more. We're telling him he had wing damage because he felt he was too fast already. Lorman's put into the pit wall while going into the pits. That was with Casper. There was a little bit of a push and a bump as they went through. Casper was passing and he was going through on the field. The screen's going to go blue for a second because I need to jump into the new lobby. So you'll just hear my voice for a moment. And Matt's happy that that's over because he thinks it's a monstrosity of a track. How dare you speak about Montreal in such a way? However, from a driver's point of view, I do understand it can be an absolute nightmare. Next up is Silverstone though, which is probably one of my favourite tracks in the world. It's got some brilliant corners in it. You obviously got the Maggots Beckett section, Copse Corner, the old first corner as well. So this is likely to be an absolute brilliant race as well. Really looking forward to this. One-shot qualifying will be interesting to see. A good lap time for qualifying round here will be somewhere around about a 1:25, possibly even a 1:24 maybe. Who knows? What do you fancy around here, Jack? What are you thinking?
It's not one of my favourite tracks, but it's the track where you can use the hardest tyres. The only track where you can actually use the hard tyres, so I'd be love to see that blue-walled hard tyre coming to ground. I just dropped something that's pinged across my room. That is not nice. But I'm normally awful at this track. I don't race it that often. Not many of my leagues. A lot of my leagues just kind of cut it out. But I think this track is also kind of easy to corner cut on, get some time penalties in, especially if you've got a bit of wing damage. So kind of coming into Maggots Beckett's or that Cops, whatever, you can go wide out onto the apex, pick up time penalty or something like that. But the nearest wall is Dover, so I don't think we're going to see many people crashing into the walls today. It would mostly be ramming into the back of people for wing damage, I reckon.
It's always possible to have, and you know, it's a lot of tracks now where it's very easy to pick up corner cuts, especially with the, you know, the amount of runoff there is these days. This track encourages the drivers to really hang it on the line and chuck it into the corners. A lot of high speed corners. When you do that, it's very easy to just run wide. Stowe Corner, especially towards the end of the lap, is going to be one that I do think we'll see a few drivers running wide through, picking up some penalties. But you've got to watch out for Copse as well. Very easy to do that on the exit of that one also. But there's some really good chances for overtaking. If you can get close to someone going through the first couple of turns at Abbey and Farm, you can make a move into Village at the start of the loop. And then obviously you've got down to Wellington Straight, down towards Brooklands with DRS. You've then obviously got, if you can follow someone through Copse, Maggots, Beckett's, down the Hanger Straight to Stowe Corner with DRS, you can sometimes get a good pass there, or even into the Club Chicane. So it's a very fast track. Obviously only Monza, I think, and maybe Spa are quicker in terms of outright speed, but it's a track I enjoy. It's a track I've had some good races at. It's also a track I've had some absolute misery at as well, depending on what I've been driving. So we'll see how the drivers take to this. Aston Alan K has posted the points from round one, and it is not VSR in the lead of the race so far. It's TMC who lead the way on 59 points, VSR in second on 57, then it's TUF on 35, TMC on 34, and TTG on 33 points at the back. So the third, fourth and fifth separated by 2 points, and the top two are separated by just 2 points. I'm just thinking there actually, TMC, yeah, second TMC at 34, Spag and Chips has pointed it out, it's actually livid, that will be in 34 points. I've just realised that's what's going on there. so it's TMC in first, VSR second, TUF third, Livid in fourth, and TTG in fifth position. So that's your points from round number one. We'll keep the stream live at the end of this round to make sure that we get the points to you as well before we finish proceedings tonight. We're just waiting on the few drivers still to join the lobby at this point. If you're in the chat, what was your thoughts on race number one? Plenty of action, absolutely frantic through the field at some instances. I've got to say, I think Luca coming from the back of the field and missing out on all of that definitely deserves a shout for the driver of that race. Casper as well though, especially if he did have wing damage, to keep that pace was very impressive. So I would say one of those two would be my driver of the race number one. What's your thoughts in the chats? What's your thoughts, Jack, for race number one? Who would you pick?
Well, number one, race number one was very intense. Great driving from everybody, being wheel to wheel almost all race. But my driver of that race has to go to Luca, coming from the back, going up into third place. So just a great drive from him, avoiding everything. It's well played.
Yeah, definitely. So 20th on the grid to finish in third place. Message there from Maze, can you invite him back in? There's been some missed invites, so can you bring him back in please, Jack?
I'll grab him now.
It'll save my screen going blank with the stream, so a wee bit easier. We're getting on that one, boss man. It's coming. But it was a crazy bit at the start of the race though, because obviously it looked like someone lagged on the grid. We did have that long pause after the lights went out, and it did look like it was one of the McLarens, I think. It got absolutely clattered at the start, and I did see one of the drivers in the chat mentioning about getting lagged at the start. I think it was Matt. Yeah, lagging off the start line. So it was him that must have got into the back of whoever it was that lagged. So hopefully we don't have that here in race number 2. Just waiting on 2 more drivers to rejoin the lobby before we get underway. It's going to be interesting though. I mean, normally in these events, Jack, VSR have been quite dominant in some instances. And this is the first time that I can remember out of the mini leagues, that certainly that I've done, that I've seen them actually on the back foot slightly. And TMC, I believe, are quite a new esports team, if I'm not mistaken. So good performance from them regardless. Can VSR fight back, you think, through here?
Well, last time out when I was commentating with Alan on League One, VSR were in the same position. They were a few points down on whoever's in first. I can't remember who it was. Still, and I'm sorry about that. But they were roughly in this same position, close enough, but still just behind. So I think VSR can come back, because coming into Brazil last time out, they got like a 1, 2, 3, 5 or something like that, and it was a well done team effort. So I think as a team they can just bring it back and win this again.
It's quite possible. We've still got next week to go, obviously. Just a quick correction. Thank you, Dark Bolt, for pointing that out. TMC is just a league rather than an actual esports team. That's what happens when you're at work most of the day. You don't get a chance to do your research like you normally do. So, yeah, thanks for pointing that out. That's why you guys are in the chat. You're there to keep me right when I screw up. So, thumbs up. And I'm probably blushing now from being absolutely stupid. So we have the drivers in the lobby now, so we're just waiting on everybody readying up. Anybody who's watching that's not readied up in the lobby, get on with it. It's already 9:15. Let's get a move on and have a great race here. Nolan in the chat saying go. Now, I know he'll be looking for some redemption round here. He will not thank me for reminding him of this, but 2 weeks ago in AOR, he had the victory in the bag, and on the last lap he invalidated a lap, ran wide and got a penalty, and it cost him a race victory. So he's looking for some redemption here. I'm absolutely sure of that, because he's got a bone to pick with this place after that. So, sorry Nolan, I'm sure you don't want me reminding you of that, but if you drive like you did there, with the lap times you're doing, I think you could be up there, but we'll soon see. TMC's getting plenty of shouts. TUF is in there. Fnatic mentioned as well. Lewis Marshall, hopefully we'll have a PG race this time. Well, if we don't, it's definitely going on Pornhub next time out. We'll just live stream straight to it. Here we go. Lobby getting readied up now for qualifying. We'll see who we can pick to go on board with. Who do you fancy? Who do you think we should go on board with here, Jack? I'm trying to think.
I'm not sure. I don't know if anyone's kind of pace around this track, really. I've been on time trial on this one for a while, so
well, we got
anyone you fancy.
Well, we got John Terry last time, who's for racing for TMC, so we'll try and pick someone else, hopefully. Let me have a wee think. Who could we go with? I think what we'll do, if I can get to him, I think we'll go with the Honey Badger for TTG. Reason being, he was the only DNF in that first race after an incident on lap 1, so we didn't see much of him. So we'll give him a little bit of screen time. Marshall's wanting me to go on with Blizzard. I'll maybe do Blizzard next week, because obviously we've got 2 more rounds next week, Singapore and Australia. So I'm going to go on with Honey Badger for this one if it gives me the opportunity to, because we didn't see much of the Honey Badger in race number 1, being the only DNF. They're already readied up pretty quickly. Where is Honey Badger? There he is. Right, good. So I've managed to get myself sorted and ready to go. So we're waiting on the drivers, picking their setups. Soft tyres all round, no surprises there. I don't think you're going to get your wish, Jack, of having the hard tyres though.
Unless someone crashes, there's a bit of wing. Could see it.
25% race, I still don't imagine. I think you got more chance of hell freezing over right now, to be perfectly honest, than that. Mind you, hell's probably still a lot warmer than it takes to warm those tyres up, because I've tried them, they're a nightmare. Oof. bad flashbacks. Perpetuum Mobile going for the mediums by the looks of it. That's an interesting choice. But anyway, we're on board with Honey Badger in the Haas coming up towards turn number 1 at Abbey Curve. DRS wide open, 7th gear, 190 miles an hour on the way in through turn 2. He's got a huge tank slapper on. He's saved it somehow up towards Village. Brilliant save there. It's going to drop him down the field. Nolan's retired and Honey Badger is going to retire as well. So we quickly jump on board with Lormans then for Livid Racing, just the next nearest driver. So Honey Badger having a horrible time here this evening, but down the back straight in Wellington towards Brooklands, turning it in 4th gear, clipping the curb just nicely on the exit, and then nice and easy through Luffield. Just got to wait to get on the power here, up to 3rd gear quickly, into 4th as well, and then back onto the power through Woodcote, across the old start finish straight, and up to one of the most breathtaking parts of the track and anywhere in the world. Cops Corner, nearly flat out, little bit of a breather on the way in, 7th gear, and we're heading up towards Maggots and Beckett's. Chuck it in full flat out, tiny lift through the second part, then down a gear for the 3rd section, into Chapel Corner, and then back on the power. DRS down the hanger straight, keep it in a diagonal line going from right to left to bring you to the racing line, into Stowe Corner, down to 5th gear, 135 miles an hour on the way in, cutting the curb there nicely on the exit, up to the club chicane, pick your braking zone down to 3rd gear, 60 odd miles an hour, nice and easy through the right hander here, get on the power, through the final kink, across the line. It's Speedstar who takes pole position. Blizzard gets himself disqualified from the session along with John Haven Terry, so they're going to drop down the field. But that is 12th position for Lormans, and considering he was at the back at one point, he's made up a bit of ground towards the end, so that's going to be pretty decent for him. Quite a few DQs there though, look at that. Nolan, Blizzard, quite a few of them there, but it's Speedstar. Toro Rosso for Livid Racing, who takes pole position. Casper in second, just 1/100th down though, very close on the times, 26.4. 2-1 the pole time. Matt in 3rd, pole in 4th for TTG, then it's Luca in 5th for TUF, getting a much better qualifying this time round. Spark 6th, Julian 7th, Flying Finn 8th, Lean in 9th, Perpetuum Mobile in the mediums in 10th place, and then Fanatic in 11th, and Lormans in 12th. 1.2 seconds cover the top 12 who set times. Honey Badger is 13th despite not setting a time. Blizzard, Yarham, Deneen, Ollie, Jack, John Haven Terry and Nolan all disqualified from the sessions. They must have been really pushing it far too much. But this is going to be definitely interesting in this one. I'm just quickly going through the chat again, see if I've missed anything.
Blizzard's DRS is broken.
Oh, not good. It's definitely, especially around here where you've got 3 straights. You've got the main front straight, you've got the Wellington straight and the Hanger straight, so it is a big difference here, this race, so that definitely wouldn't have helped. Sway in the chat saying don't get the mediums, but it's cool. Darkbolt going, you alright about Perpetuum on mediums? He's the only driver that done it, but you know what, it could work out if he can avoid trouble in the start, or he might make us all look like fools. You never know how it's going to be. But let's look outside the top 10 as they start the formation lap. So Fanatic is on the softs, Lormans is on the mediums, then it's Honey Badger on the softs, Blizzard's on the mediums, soft tyres for Yarham and Deneen, mediums for Ollie and Jack, so the 2 TTG boys following the same route. Then John Terry is on the soft tyres, and Nolan at the back of the grid is on the medium tyres. So plenty of drivers down the field that normally wouldn't be there. It's definitely plenty of quick drivers. Regulars to TTTV will know very well about Ollie and Jack, obviously, from TTL F1 and the likes of that. Blizzard's obviously the most decorated TTL F1 driver of all time, a 4-time driving champion in TTL. Nolan's a quick driver as well. We've seen what John Terry can do in race number 1. There's plenty of drivers out of position here. If you had to pick someone, who would it be, Jack? Because I'm struggling who I would pick out of this lot.
Well, we saw Luca get a good race from the back last time out, so we could be seeing Luca pushing up the grid again. Maybe possibly taking a win if he could go from 20th up into 3rd. What can he do from 5th? Sparks qualifying high up, which is nice to see from him. I was kind of expecting more from Blizzard. I was kind of hoping he would redeem himself this time out. So maybe we'll see if he can come back during this race. He's a quick lad, and I think he could bring it back.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. Dark Bolt is predicting Operation Massive Pile-Up. I hope not. I want to see the 20 cars get to the end of this race. That would be what I want to see. Hopefully it's as clean as possible, but they're coming up to the start and finish line. 13 laps at the Silverstone circuit, 3.661 miles, 18 turns in all. The race that started the Formula 1 Championship, the first ever round back in 1950. It's changed a lot since then, obviously, but it's still the home of British motorsport. 5 red lights are on. How long are they going to take to go off and start this time? We will soon see. Well, it's certainly been at least 3 or 4 seconds anyway into first gear. So here we go, counting it down, waiting and waiting. It's like waiting for Christmas morning, and here we go, we're underway for the British Grand Prix, and it looks like Speedstar's got a good start. Casper's going to slot in a second. Look out for Poe trying to go up the inside there on Matt through turn number 1. They're side by side as they come through. We're watching as Julian battles with Sparks as they come into free wide. There's a bit of front wing go flying off into the distance there. Not sure who that came off of. Poe's managed to hold on to 4th place. Matt's kept ahead of him in 3rd. We've got a Red Bull sideways. That is Julian dropping down the field very quickly. There's cars off the track. That's a Haas running wide. Fanatics out of the race somewhere as well down the field. And as they come into Brooklands, it's an absolute mayhem. It looks like the M25 on a Friday night as everyone tries to get home in a quick enough time to get to the pub. But it's going side by side. That's Ollie we're looking at there. He was the Haas, I think, that was off the track. Possibly him or Honey Badger, who's down in 18th as they come up. That's a Williams battling with a Ferrari. That's Sparks trying to go by, I believe, on someone. There goes the Renault Jack up the inside of Lormans into Cops corner. Not an overtaking point you normally see. And now Blizzard's going to try and go by into Maggots and Beckett's, but has to back out of that move. Mobile's picked up 3-second time penalty already. Speedstar, Casper, Matt, Poe and Luca all the same up front in the top 5. Flying Fins up a couple of places already. Sparks down 1. Perpetual Mobile's down 2 places as well, as we are watching as Lormans tries to go the long way round on TTG Jack, the defending TTL F1 champion. The Williams runs wide off the track, maybe gaining a little bit of advantage there into the club chicane, up the inside, onto the brakes, bumping their way through, and that's allowed the Mercedes through of Blizzard to get by as well, so that's not worked out good for Lormans. He's now pushed wide by the other Mercedes and Nolan coming through the final corner, and that's cost him a couple of places as he drops back down the field, gets up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles as well. Meanwhile, John Terry and Lean are having a fight coming through the loop section here and coming towards the Wellington Straight, and it looks like the TUF driver is going to hold that position for now. He's going to squeeze the Sauber to the outside line as he come down the back straight towards Brooklands. No DRS here at the moment, and Lean is going to hold on to that position. John's going to try and hang it around the outside though into Luffield. There's going to be a bit of contact surely there as he understeers, and John Terry has managed to get the place done. He's much better at driving here than he is at taking penalty kicks when he was at Chelsea, that's for sure. But he's moved himself up into 9th position at the moment. Lean's trying to fight back into Cops but has to think better off it. Jack, what did you see within that opening period? Oh, sorry, Force India off the track, sorry. Yaham is miles off the track. They must have got a huge tank slapper out of Cops there. Was well on the grass, missed the wall, but it's dropped himself down to 14th place. Sorry, just seen him flying off in the distance there, Jack. On you go, sorry, mate.
It's alright. John Terry again, fantastic start, up 10 places already. However, Julian getting about an equally bad start. It's kind of in the opposite direction for him, going down 11 places. I'm not sure what happened to him. I think maybe he just went off the track, went wide. Not many people going that wide. Kept it nice and clean for that first lap, except Fanatic, McLaren TUF, or Tuff. I don't know what happened to him, but this is our first retirement, another lap 1 retirement for us this time out. So you're not going to get your dream of the full 20 good. I'm not going to get my dream of hard tyres.
Well, you never know, there's some of them in pit lane. Oh, the Williams is round, Lorman's round, he's been collected by someone there, and it was the Force India of Yarham in the wars again. But it looks like this time with Lormans. We were on board, not the greatest camera angle. The Williams went round, contact was made. It might have been one of the Red Bulls maybe as well, because I did see a flash, a Red Bull, but it wasn't. So Lorman's round, he's got front wing damage, front right hand corner of his car, and Yarham was in amongst that as well. His car looks okay in terms of damage, so he's going to try and swing around the outside. So don't know quite what happened there with him to cause that, but it's going to drop Lormans down the field pretty quickly indeed. Biggest gainers, as you say, John Terry up 10 places. The biggest loser is Deneen, sorry, not Deneen, it's Julian, down 7. I don't know what caused them to go down there, but we did see him spinning coming onto the Wellington Straight, so that wasn't too good at all. You can see the pit stops there. Jack, Honeybadger and Deneen have all been into the pits. They put on a new set of tyres each, so that's going to take them to the end of the race. There's been a few more shouts in the chat, Jack, that your microphone's still very quiet as well. Ollie's into pit lane now for a change of tyres, very early for the medium tyres as well, so he obviously wants to get rid of them pretty quickly indeed. We come back towards the front end of the field, and Luca is onto the back of Poe in the battle for 4th position. Flying Finn not too far back. We've got yellow flag somewhere in sector 1. Not sure what that's for. It has now disappeared, and down the Wellington Straight everybody's still keeping it line astern. So after that frantic start, we have now got a little bit calmed down a wee set, Chad, and we'll see how that one goes. Looking in the chat, Recon, Erwin is in the chat, or Recon as it is. Jack's looking for the undercut, so he's looking out for TTG. Jack now in 15th place, having stopped early. He's now made his pit stop, so he thinks he's going to try and the undercut here. And it's quite a long pit lane as well, because you're under that pit lane bit for quite a while here. So around about 20 odd seconds roughly that you need. So any of the race leaders pitted now, they come out in 13th ahead of Yarham but behind Julian. But obviously, as you can see, apart from Yarham, everyone else behind him has already stopped in this race. Lap 4 of 13, Flying Finn goes into pit lane. He's got Matt in pit lane as well, and Mobile's picked up a penalty for speeding, nearly flew right into the back of the Ferrari of Flying Finn there, so he's lucky to still be in the race. But Casper's just keeping Speedstar honest. He's got 2.5 seconds. Julian's got a 5-second penalty as well for speeding. Casper 8 times behind Speedstar. He's got 2.5 over Pole. And that's looking pretty decent at the moment for the Dutchman. One more time again as the penalties start to rack up. Deneen now with a 3-second time penalty as the pit stop phase well underway. Generally these soft tyres would probably do the full 13 laps, so I get a few of them. I probably just want to get off them and get the tyre change done to try and make it go as long as possible. Having a look through there, Matt's back out in 9th position, having made his stop. 23 seconds off the next car, 31 off the lead, so he's the furthest up the field of anyone that's pitted. Ollie is having a fight just now with Mobile. He's just disappeared somewhere. Where'd he go? He's got through actually. I'm just missing out on everything. It's fine, ignore me. Where is Mobile? There he is. He was behind Ollie, so I don't know if Mobile went off there, because he was just behind Ollie and now he's dropped a few places, so that's not too good there. But yeah, Jack has jumped a few people by pitting early. He's now up to 12th place. Flying Finns came out ahead of him, Matt's came out ahead of him, Yarham has still to pit. That's a Williams in the background flying into pit lane as Sparks, Casper and Poen as well. So Speedstar carries on, Luca carries on as well. Well, lap 6 of 13, we're already at the halfway stage, Jack. Plenty going on as always.
I'm not sure, but Yara might have a little bit of damage, because a couple of laps ago I saw him just go off into non-areas. Completely gone. He gets under attack by Flying Finn, he just breezes past him. But Blizzard's had a little momentary battle with his teammate. Where has he gone?
He's in the pit lane.
Yeah, him and Nolan had a little momentary battle until Blizzard pulled into the pits. I thought we were going to see something interesting. Yaron retires. He's
retired in pit lane, so he's not done it on track at least. He just came into pits, we were just following Flying Finn, had got by him. he flew into pit lane and he's decided better off it, which is strange because in this event obviously you gain a point of some description for every place as long as you finish the race, so that's just going to cost TMC a chance of gaining some points here. They're now one driver down, so he should really have probably carried on, to be honest. We're not sure what happened to Fnatic, but he's the other DNF in this race at the moment, and our yellow flag somewhere in sector 1, trying to see if we can catch what that might be, but it's away already, so not too sure. So Speedstar still leads from being in pole position. You got to expect he's surely going to be in the pits this lap. Don't want to leave it too long in this race. And indeed, your race leader heads for pit lane. So the furthest car up that's made a stop is Pole, actually, for TTG's, just ahead of Casper, 32 seconds behind Speedstar. The top four all into pit lane. You can see Casper's getting the hurry up from Matt with his lovely overhead shot as they come onto the hangar straight. But where do these guys come out of pit lane in comparison to the likes of Paul, Casper and Matt? We're about to find out, because they're about to be leaving pit lane and these guys are coming through the final couple of corners now. It's going to be very close, I think, when they come up towards turns 1 and 2. Where is Speedstar? He's just coming up towards the end of the pit lane, so he should be able to hold on to the lead of the race. It's going to be tight between Luca and Lean and Nolan against the rest. Here comes Pole through turn number 1 at Abbey. You can see he's gone ahead, so he's ahead of everybody except for Speedstar, so that's worked brilliantly there for the Livid Racing driver. He is now still in the lead of the race and made his pit stop, and he's gained time out of it as well, because his lead is now just under 3 seconds, so that's been a beautiful pit stop phase for the Toro Rosso driver.
Well, we've just got news from Yaram of how come he retired. He says that the game is randomly taking over his pad and turning when he's on the straight, so we'll just put that down as a suspension failure or something like that. Turning it up, wanting to. So that's what we got, really.
Yeah, not too good at all. Recon saying Fnatic got said he got taken out by a Force India, so that's obviously one of the Livid car, the TMC cars, sorry, not Livid. So he's saying that he got taken out by someone, which is not good. Got Nolan trying to catch up to the back of Lean, Jacks onto the back of Nolan as well, and Nolan's got himself a pretty good run here on the McLaren, on DRS now, down the hangar straight towards Stowe. The McLaren's got DRS as well. Nolan's going for a switchback. That's a late move there by Lean. Needs to be careful. Nolan chucks it up the inside. He's taken no you-know-what off of that one there. It's a bit of a late second move by Lean. He needs to be careful of that one, but Nolan a wee bit aggressive there, but he managed to get the move done without contact by the look of it, and he's up into 9th place. His teammates just set the fastest lap of the race. Meanwhile, Jack now in the Renault is going to fancy his chances on the McLaren and taking over that place in the top 10. Is he going to make a move here? A late switch back up the inside into Village Corner, but unable to get the move done, and Lean holds on for now.
I thought there was going to be a crash with the Williams and Blizzard there. He just bombed up his inside and then suddenly Sparks was nearly round. Sorry about that, I'll cut you off.
No, if you're seeing something, tell me. It's totally fine. But Blizzard goes up. Nolan's got by on Sparks as well, as the Williams manages to hold it but loses 2 places to both of the Mercedes. And VSR looking good at the moment. They've got 3rd, 5th, 7th and 8th in this race at the moment, and as we're past the halfway stage, your biggest gainer in the race is the man we're watching just now, Nolan. Started at the back of the field. He's up 12 places from 20th in the grid, so he's the biggest gainer. His teammate Blizzard's up 7, as is Jack and John Terry. Your biggest losers are Julian down 7 places, currently in 14th, and Lorman's in 18th, down 6 places. He's the last runner on the track.
Looks like it's best to start from the back though, as we've seen from Junior in last race. He's just gone up into 3rd, now we got Nolan up into 8th, up 12. It's really looking like back is the way to go.
Oh, the Blizzard there on Luca round the outside into the club chicane, and that is a beautiful move there from the VSR driver to get through. He's now got DRS to keep himself from defending. Flying Finn into pit lane. Now, is that his first stop? I think it might be, actually. It's quite strange, but he's into pit lane now for a change of tyres. It can't be his first stop. I'm sure everyone had already stopped, but Blizzard with a lovely move there on Luca to take 5th place. Round the outside, clean as a whistle, and he is now on his way back up the field on the soft tyres as well, so he's got the grip advantage over those around him on the mediums, and he is the highest running soft runner at the moment as well. His teammate Nolan is the next one up on the softs, and you've got a couple of cars before you get to Jack, who is on the soft tyres also. We're currently watching Casper harrying all over the back of Poe. Boy, do TTG need the points after race number 1. Poe is doing them a good job at the moment. He needs to try and stay there. Casper won the first race at Montreal, very quick driver indeed, and he's going to fancy taking that away. But you've got to watch out, Matt's in there as well in the Salba for TMC, although he's just picked himself up a time penalty, which is not going to help his finishing position in any way, shape or form. By the end, here comes Casper though, up to Stowe corner, up the inside, DRS assisted, side by side he goes. Poe's going to hang it round the outside and holds the position for now. He's going to have to go defensive. Casper to the outside, he's going to try and do what Blizzard did, and again another beautifully perfect move round the outside at the first part of club, getting the inside for the second part. Blizzard done it a lap ago on Luca, now Casper's done it on Poe. Two beautiful moves by the VSR drivers. Are really starting to flex their muscles here in the closing stages of the British Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Matt is going to look up the inside on Poe into the loop section. You can see in the background there, that was Luca and Nolan, as Nolan tried to go up the inside. Behind them, Sparks and Lean are having a bit of a pushing match as Lean squeezes his way through on the Williams driver also. Nolan's gone through. Where is Luca? He's there. He was on the grass, so not sure what happened there. That's put Blizzard up as well. Matt side by side with Poe. It's going off absolutely everywhere you look through the field. Poe holds on to the position. Matt's got a great run though, coming through Woodcote. We're not going to go side by side through Copse Corner, are we? This could be very interesting indeed. Keep it clean, boys. Here we go. Into the abyss we go. Side by side through turn 1, and Poe comes out the other end. Matt had to back out. Now looking to go side by side into Maggots and Beckett's, but again has to think better of it. Discretion is the better part of valour, as they say, and he thinks it's better to fight another day. Nolan and Blizzard are basically helping each other at the moment. Not sure what happened to Luca. He was on the grass briefly. We just caught the end of it, but it's cost him a couple of places. Coming up to the end of lap 10, it's looking good for Speedstar though, and Livid Racing to take the victory here at the moment. We're coming on to lap 11, so 3 to go, including the one that they are on as soon as Speedstar crosses the line, which he has just now.
Casper looks like he's one of the more consistent drivers over these last 2 races. He's been on the podium for the majority of both races so far, so some nice consistency coming from him. Hang on, what team is he in again? Is it?
He's a VSR.
VSR. Yep, that makes sense. I was completely wrong. Casper gains in some good points for VSR there. He looks like he's on his way for 2 podiums in a row, which can bring some big points in for VSR and hopefully take them to another win in this mini league.
It's quite possible. He's a very consistent driver. His driver I know very well from AOR commentaries that I do on Sunday night, so I know he's very consistent. He's usually good for not picking up many penalties. He's usually very good in the tyres as well, so no surprise to see him up there fighting it out for overall honours on the track. We've seen just a quick clip in Nolan passing Blizzard into Brooklands under DRS, which I'm sure Blizzard didn't fight that one too much. Jack tried to go by Sparks as well, but was unable to get the move done, so he's still in 10th, still chasing down the Williams at the moment. No other real major battles through the field. The closest is Blizzard on Nolan, but those two, as I say, are teammates. Jack has got DRS on Sparks, and Sparks is just outside the DRS as well, so that could help him shortly. Yellow flag somewhere in sector 3, unsure what that might be because nobody's dropping down the order at a vast rate of knots. Now yellow flag in sector 1 and gone, so we're on to the penultimate lap now. But Speedstar, we've not seen much of Speedstar during this race, but he has drove very nicely indeed. Took pole position. He's currently leading as well. He's not got the fastest lap. That's currently Nolan on a 27.9. He's the only driver in the 27s at any point. But Speedstar has been very consistent in this race. 3.4 seconds clear of Casper, who is in second place. But yeah, we've not seen much of him, but he's doing a very good job. Casper's about to lap his teammate Flying Finn. Now that's a bit of a punch in the gut if you're Flying Finn. I'm sure he's made 2 stops, so yeah, he has indeed. So possibly damage there, but that's not going to be good. Maybe without being too cheeky, Flying Finn might be able to help his teammate a little bit, because Paul is all over the back of Casper one more time through Maggots and Beckett's. Hopefully Flying Finn will let them challenge and fight very fairly indeed, and he's got a 5-second stop go penalty for ignoring the blue flag, so if he carries on any longer he's going to get disqualified. He pulls right out of the way, so that's going to allow all the leaders through. Matt is fighting there, that's Nolan coming to the outside. We're on board with Blizzard to catch the end of that move, and Nolan round the outside off Stowe Corner. Blizzard's now going to go up the inside, but he needs to be careful because he could end up in the back of his teammate. Matt's going to try and get the place back, can't do it. Blizzard's going to get a run through the final corner onto the final lap of the race. They're going to go side by side up towards Abbey Curve. Who's going to come out at the other end of it? And Blizzard is into the position, so Matt loses out 2 places there in the space of a couple of corners to both Mercedes drivers, and again that's going to be really, really good for VSR. He thinks about trying to take the place back from Blizzard but can't do it onto the Wellington straight, as we are now coming down that straight towards Brooklands for the final time. Paul trying to see if he can do anything on Casper, but Casper's got plenty of battery life left to fight him off if need be, and that is Luca getting past on Matt as well, but Matt chucks it back up the inside into Brooklands. He says, I've lost 2 places, I'm not losing another one, mate, and he keeps that position for now onto the final lap. There's been plenty going on through this racetrack. It's been absolutely brilliant action all night.
It's been absolutely fantastic. Hopefully I can see something like this when I go see the Grand Prix.
Good luck.
Luke is getting very close to Matt though. I thought they were going to go wheels to wheels there. So coming on to a final lap, it's going to get quite intense. Maybe we'll see someone getting a bit desperate, going to try and maybe dive for an overtake possibly, but I doubt to see people as sensible. Different to what I'm used to racing with.
We'll keep that one for another day. Luca's got past Matt, but we're going to come back to the front of the field because it is the final lap, and Speedstar for Livid Racing with a beautiful race is going to come across the line and win the British Grand Prix. But keep an eye on the standings because we have no clue what the penalties are like, because I've not been keeping an eye on it. Casper in 2nd, Poe 3rd, Nolan 4th, Blizzard 5th, Luca in 6th, Matt crosses the line 7th, it's Lean in 8th, Sparks 9th, Jack 10th, just couldn't get the move done on the Williams. Ollie goes to 11th due to penalties for John Terry, he's 12th, Julian 13th, Honey Badger 14th, Perpetual Mobile, who started on the mediums, doesn't work out, he's going to be 15th. Deneen is going to cross the line in 16th place, as you see Flying Finn a lap down having a bit of donuts in the background. Lormans will cross the line in 17th, and Flying Finn will finish the race, so that will still be points for VSR. He is 18th, but your winner in a very controlled race up front that we didn't see much of due to action through the field, but it's Speedstar who takes the win for Livid Racing.
It's very controlling there from Speedstar. He's very controlled, consistent, composed throughout most of that race. On top for, hang on, oh, why does everything go on my head today? What team is he in?
He's in Livid. Speedstar.
Obviously. He's bringing some good points there for Livid. I think it's 30, is it with the... Or is it still 25 with the different points?
I believe so. We'll get Alan will be frantically doing the Carl Vorderman impression right now to get the points ready, so we'll get them shortly from him. But let's run you through the standings of the race, and I'll get through them quickly. Speedstar wins from Casper in 2nd, Poe in 3rd, Nolan 4th, Blizzard 5th. The top 5, no penalties at all, so that's always worth a shout out in my book. Luca in 6th, Matt in 7th, Lean 8th, Sparks 9th, Jack in 10th, Ollie 11th with no penalties. It's John Terry in 12th, Julian 13th, Honey Badger 14th, Perpetual Mobile in 15th with 11 seconds worth of penalties, the most in the race by the looks of it. Deneen in 16th, Lormans in 17th, Flying Finn in 18th, a lap down. Your 2 DNS for Yarman, who had his pad issues as mentioned, and Fanatic, who according to the chat was taken out by one of the Force Indias during the race. Some brilliant action though, but controlled race that we didn't see much of from the pole sitter, Speedstar, and he takes the win for Livid Racing. Some solid points for them, but VSR 2nd, 4th and 5th, if I remember rightly, so it's probably going to put them back on top of the standings. We'll wait, we'll keep the stream live, so don't go anywhere just yet. Wait a couple of minutes. Alan will be doing the point standings just now to get them all for us. I'm just going to have a wee look through the chat. Casper, I love it when people using Racing Line take out the braking boards. Don't we all, mate? Don't we all? Nolan P20 to P4, yeah, brilliant result there. I would say it's a bit of payback for AOR a couple of weeks ago there, so well done to you for that. It was a really, really good result from VSR. But yeah, I mean, not really much you can do in that race for driver of the day other than, I would say, Speedstar, because he done absolutely everything he needed to do. Close run by Nolan and Blizzard for coming through the field, especially Nolan getting fourth coming from 20th. I would say those three were definitely the standouts in the race, because Speedstar, we didn't see much of him, but he done what you need to do. He got pole position, he drove away, he kept the gap, he came into the pits when the right time, and he was never seen, basically. That's the kind of race you want to have, but he never put a foot wrong. But Nolan from 20th and Blizzard up through the field as well was brilliant. Let's have a look. Flying Finn actually cost me what was a possible P3. Matt lagged and his disconnected car hit me. So that's what happened for Flying Finn, because he did have to make a second pit stop, so it must have caused damage to his car, which is what put my lap down. Who would you think for your driver of that race there, Jack? What would be your suggestions?
Probably Nolan, another P20 to, well, nearly third, nearly onto the podium. He came fourth though, so clearly starting at the back is really, could be a strategy coming into the next couple of races, because it's worked out for Nolan and Julian. So well played from those two, except Casper again running a very consistent race, coming second for the second time in a row. So if he's racing into the next couple of rounds, if he can continue that, that'll be fantastic for VSR and bring them a victory possibly.
He's definitely very capable of it. All the drivers are very capable in my book of doing much, but for Casper I do know obviously quite a bit about. Casper, very nice guy as well. His parents actually usually watch the streams on Sunday, so I don't know if they were watching tonight at all, but if Mr. and Mrs. Casper are, hello. Thanks for watching. But yeah, really, really good. Recon was in the chat just mentioning, fun to watch. Good job to us. Thank you very much, Recon. I will apologise to you on stream, Jack. I kinda went a bit overboard sometimes on the chats. Didn't give you much chance to come in, so sorry, mate. I got carried away.
It's all good. It's fine.
I'm Scottish. What can you say?
To you, though.
Oh, I'll take that. I'll take that as a positive then. It's a problem with being Scottish. We can talk the hind legs off the donkey. There you go. So what we're doing just now is we're just waiting on Alan Kay giving us the standings. Before long, we will have them in the chat. We'll obviously be back next week for the second part of this, starting with League 2 at 7 o'clock. They will be running these tracks that we've done just now tonight, which is Canada and Silverstone, so Montreal and Silverstone. And then myself and Jack will be back at 8:30 for the second part of League 1, which will be doing the races that League 2 did this week, which is Singapore's Marina Bay and Albert Park in Melbourne. You'll be able to join James for League 2 at 7 o'clock. He'll possibly be joined by Alan Kay if he's not drafted into race like he was tonight. If not, then I'm sure he'll do an absolutely fantastic job running solo as he always does. If you haven't already done so, do hit the subscribe button to be subscribed of any time TTTV goes live with any of our league events. Obviously with the run up to F1 2019, got a couple of short leagues running, and then obviously we're going to be starting off the new leagues as well. There is the points in the chat. So going into next week, the points are as follows. These are obviously pending any stewards that might come in, of course. VSR lead on 116 points, TMC in second on 88, TTG up 2 places from 5th to 3rd place now on 81, so they're only 7 points behind TMC. Livid are only a point behind on 80 points, and TUF are in 5th place on 71 points, so 2nd down to 5th are very close together in the standings. VSR got a nice lead, but it's not an insurmountable lead at this point. It is still possible to catch up. One bad race for VSR could blow it all wide open next week, and we'll soon see when that happens. Back here, as I say, next Wednesday at 8:30. Jack, first time me of you have been in the commentary box. It's been a pleasure. I'll try to allow you to speak a wee bit more next time. Again, apologies.
It's all fine. I really enjoyed myself. It was good. Sorry,
good stuff.
Cut you off.
No, you're fine. Do you have any... you usually do TTL F2 on Sundays. Is there anything on this Sunday you want to quickly advertise for the folks watching?
I don't think so. I've lost my job in that one. As they changed the days, and I do FTRL on that day, so
Ah,
sad for
jeez.
me to not be doing that, but I think I'll be popping up a few other times for other leagues in TTG. I'll be racing in the no assists F1 thingy on which
Oh yeah, the
starts.
4-round
Let's have a
mini
look.
series. Yeah, that's coming up as
Let
well
me
very
look where it
soon.
starts. It's Belgium on Thursday, 30th of the 5th, so in 8 days.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to be back from Belgium. I'm going to Belgium this weekend, so.
Ah, nice, excellent. Remember, don't have too many Belgian chocolates and too much Stella now. But yeah, that'll be along. But if you haven't already, we have racing here on TTTV Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. So 5 nights a week across F1 2018 and Project Cars 2, which is the one I like to give a shout out because it's the one that I run. So if you want to watch that on Saturday, you can hear me commentating again on Saturdays at 8. But I'm going to leave it there for now. As I say, do hit subscribe and the bell icon. Do hit the like button as well. We thank you very much to everyone for joining us this evening. And for those of you that joined in the chat also, thank you very much for keeping us posted and giving us your thoughts. My name is Andy Campbell. My colleague in crime tonight has been Jack Fox from Nexus. Until next time, we'll see you again soon. Ta-ra.